Welcome to Coffee Spills and Pineapples, where creators tell their stories to inspire you, the listener. I'm your host, Rafi. Today is a special episode where we talk to two guests, Anna and Ayoub, but before that, I introduce Anna Mikhailian, who's here in the studio with me. Welcome, Anna.
Hi, Rafika. It's good to be here.
Thank you. So, Anna, I know you're doing so many different projects, and you're working mostly on music related, music with children. That's how I know you. That's how we met. This specific episode, we want to talk about your creative journey that led to the music healing project. Give us a background on how you started. What was the motivation and how you put this project together? And why did you choose someone like Ayoub?
I could go really far back, but I think 2020 is the year to start. When during the war in Artsakh, we hosted at the Art Center here that I run, Nexus Center for the Arts. We ended up hosting a lot of musicians during this period where there was war and there was a lot of uncertainty. But what we were doing is every day we were gathering with a lot of musicians who were local to Yerevan, jazz musicians, a lot of jazz musicians and folk musicians, and also children from Artsakh. Part of the reason we were doing this is because we were going to visit different locations where displaced people were, and we were just trying to be useful, I guess. And so we were gathering at Nexus, making arrangements of different songs, and then we were going to these locations and we were playing music.
Yeah, there was a lot of gathering during those years.
And so specifically those months actually during the war itself, and the musicians were out of work, and so we were just kind of spending these endless hours at Nexus. And what we ended up finding was this it was a new form of making music for me. I have a classical background, so I play piano, and there were folk musicians, like I said, and different rock musicians,
jazz, as you said,
a lot of jazz musicians. And so we ended up kind of discovering for ourselves this almost like a trance kind of music, where we would just kind of start with, everyone kind of had their own loop, and we would just kind of keep playing and just really listen and just really get into very, very deep listening and connecting to each other through these rhythms and getting on the same loop. Like there would be moments we would come in, we were all, different emotions and different things had happened, and we would come in, we would play, and then we suddenly feel like we're really connected. We would even take our pulse and measure it and see how it would somehow line up. And so we would find this flow. It was really amazing experience actually for me. And I was telling about this to Arto Tunçbajan, who told me I was trying to do an Arto voice, but I won't try. But he basically told me to go.
So you also impersonate people. I see.
Was trying.
Okay.
I was in my head. I can do it. Basically, he said you should go check out Gnawa. And so I went and checked out Gnawa music on Spotify, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. Where is he going with this? Because I didn't quite get it. And then I ended up, there was an opportunity to travel somewhere, and I was like, let me go to Morocco and check out Gnawa. And so I got there, and I started to get it. There was this trance that we would get. The music itself is very different. They have a specific instrument that they use.
Yeah, we talk about that specifically in the later part of this episode.
Yeah, and the way that you feel during this music was very similar. Like you access your subconscious in a very interesting way when you really get into it. I ended up going back again to Morocco during their Gnawa Fest, which hadn't happened for a couple of years because of COVID. And so when it happened again, I was like, I have to go check it out. During Gnawa Fest, I met Ayoub, and then we started playing. We were all going through a difficult time still. There was a lot of Artsakh and all of this stuff. So I was personally still in that situation of I needed music to heal myself. When I was in this state during Gnawa Fest with Ayoub, we were doing this jam session with this famous Malan, and we got into this thing where we're playing, and suddenly I'm playing Bach. And I didn't know I was playing. I had this little tiny keyboard with me, and I'm playing, like, what am I playing? And I was like, oh, this is Bach. Oh, I haven't played this since I was 6.
Wow.
So I had somehow dipped into my subconscious somewhere really far down and brought that out. And I was like, oh, maybe I should go back to Bach. And so fast forward a year later, I went back to Gnawa Fest, and we did a joint performance with Ayoub, where I played Bach, I played Komitas, and we did like a joint Gnawa jam session thing where we mixed Armenian folk music and all of this. And this was part of my own personal journey.
So mixing genres,
Yeah.
not just different cultures, but also the genres were mixed.
I think this also has to do with this subconscious dipping thing. When I get into that
Vibe.
yeah, and into that trance, stuff comes up that I haven't thought about, music I hadn't heard for a really long time. And so as we would play this Gnawa, suddenly I would hear like a sort of pote come up for me or something, and then I would play it. And during our jam sessions, that's how that came out, the mixing,
Well,
because
I've
that
been
was
to
the
your
natural
jam
stuff.
sessions and I've seen how that works. And I've attended where you have musicians with younger audiences or different like jazz musicians, and you jump from Armenian to like international jazz and maybe some American stuff, and then maybe even like Anatolian sounds appear. Definitely, I can see the journey of how that would connect with Anna and Ayoub that you created with Gnawa.
Yeah, I think the goal is to dig up whatever is there. And the jam session, it kind of is the exact opposite of classical music, where everything is very structured, where if you hold the note for one beat too long, you are already like, I didn't play that right. But here you have complete freedom. It's just like, okay, what's coming up? And you just kind of let that flow happen and you get into that rhythm so that everything will come out that is there. Gnawa is kind of in between all of this, but the thing that I really, really liked about it was that it was unapologetic about the fact that it was healing music. So the fact that people would have some kind of a problem, emotional, psychological, and they would prescribe themselves, or somebody would prescribe them Gnawa. Like they would organize this party called Lila, and they would go and they would get into this trance. And it's a very somatic experience. You dance to this music, you get into this thing.
And it's an overnight experience.
But you have to get it out of yourself. It doesn't have to be overnight. One of my experiences with Gnawa was when I had really bad shoulder pain. And it was like a small gathering, maybe 5 of us. There was a French guitar player, a couple of Ayoub's place, a couple of Moroccans. And I remember I was just kind of lightly dancing. I wasn't like going crazy in a trance or anything, but I was lightly dancing and I was just really following the music, and I was letting the music, the vibration of the music kind of hit my body and have my body respond, almost like a physical vibration. The instrument, the amazing thing about the instrument is that you can feel the vibration of it, the physicality of it, even especially when you're holding it, but even when you're dancing. And I remember I was moving to the instrument, letting it move me, and the player kept playing, and I knew I had to keep going. And when he kind of like softer and softer and softer, and when he finished, he played the last note, I heard like a little click in my spine, like something just like fell into its place, like a very, very sensitive spinal adjustment, But like instead of going to a chiropractor, you go to this Gnawi.
Awesome. I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah, I mean, it was my experience. So it was after that, I was just like, I need this and we need this, especially the movement aspect of it. And so when we were doing these programs in Armenia with fast forward and back to Armenia, when we're doing these programs here, one of the things I noticed with the kids is that I had a hard time getting them to move a little bit. Even getting them to dance, a lot of the time the dancing looked just like very strict marching.
Yeah, culturally, I mean, we have our in Armenia, the cultural folk dances, and we have the party dances. But in general, like in the West, you go to a festival, you're on the street, it's okay to dance and move your body to the rhythm. But we don't see that in the Caucasus. We don't see that in these mountainous countries that seem to dictate the seriousness of how people should behave.
Especially on the border, and especially in Artsakh, I felt, if we would put a beat down and just encourage people to just move their body, just right, left, kind of let it be loose. And it was very difficult to do that. Inviting Gnawa musicians also had this idea, because their music, they're singing, they're playing, but then they suddenly are dancing.
Yeah.
And to get
jumping and it becomes really like athletic at some point where they're doing moves that are beyond the dance.
And I think for me it was important to make that link and to get young people or musicians, anybody, to create those links between music and healing. It's not just because sometimes we've had issues playing music during the war, a lot of people would say, this is no
Yeah,
time for music.
that's
It's
right.
like, hey, wait, this is not. We're not about partying. This is what we need for the soul. This is what we
It's
need
healing.
for the spirit. We have that. We have that at the church. With the liturgy and.
That's right.
And interestingly, that also we discovered during the war, it makes you take these deep breaths to sing these long notes that the liturgy makes, and that's also
That helps you breathe, right?
Exactly, yeah. So to get people so inviting Ayoub and the other Gnawi here, to get them to kind of do this tour around Armenia and just to give glimpses to people of, hey, this is what's possible, this is where music can go, and
what it can do, what it can do for you collectively and
Yeah.
individually.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think this is a very good introduction to what conversation we will hear next with Ayoub. If you're enjoying this episode, follow us on Spotify or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hello, Ayoub.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Good, good.
Thank you for making the time to be here today with us.
Big please, Aaron.
Yeah. What I wanted to know is maybe we start a little bit with this fascinating genre of Gnawa music. What is Gnawa music?
Gnawa music is, how I say, is a healing music, and it's Moroccan music, but with African roots. So it comes from South Africa to North Africa is Morocco. And there it get developed. Before it was like small instrument with only African language, like Bambara language or Wolof. But after when it comes to North, to Morocco, it gets mixed between Berber and Arab. So now when we sing three languages at the same time.
Wow. Can you tell us what the songs are usually about?
Okay, yeah. So the songs there are a part. For example, if we speak about ceremony part, Lila
So it's like a ritual, right?
is a ritual, yeah. So it's like we can speak about the old things about Gnawa. It has parts. It has one part that is for the Gnawa musician, that they get warm and they get in trance before the people to come to get the healing. So there is this part, and there is the part that we bring people, and then there is the color part. So the color part is the most trancy part, and it's more for the healing and we sing mostly about element, like water, sea, sky, fire,
air, yeah, exactly.
all these things is in the color part. First one is for the musician. They get warm, they get them dancing, and they show also to people that they are there. They give them how they give them, like they warm them,
Yeah, they prepare them, they sort of
prepare.
work them.
Second part is the like we can speak about religion things. There is a part of the religion, so Islamic religion, not only Islamic, it has Islamic, and I can feel Jewish songs also there is, because when we speak about Musawiyin, for example, the blue song and Gnawa is about Musa. Then after religion part, sorry, you go to the color, and it's the trance.
The colors is the trance where you get to the
The
healing.
elements, yeah.
So how did you start? Where did you start? Like, did you wake up one day and said, oh, I want to do Gnawa?
No, it doesn't happen like this, but I heard this music and I didn't really know that has all this power in the beginning. But suddenly after a while I start to travel and I go to like Sawera, Marrakesh, the places where there are more Gnawa, and I found the power of the drums, for example. The drum, because we play, we have in Gnawa 3 instruments. The kembri, it has rouge and sentir.
Yeah, you said you told me earlier, there's 3 names
Yeah,
for it.
kembri has rouge and sentir.
I see.
And there is the cracker, the metal percussion.
Yes.
And there is the big drum
Uh-huh.
with 2 sticks. So this, when many people say that originally Gnawa it was only drum and this.
And percussion. So it was more percussion.
Yeah, more percussion than strings.
So what happened when this
That's
instrument
what
came
they
in?
say. It develops in Morocco. Then they make the kembri, the instrument with. So always you keep.
Yeah, show us a little bit of.
Always you keep. There is the skin of the drum, the kick that is always is there. So So you have a part you play strings, and there's the other part.
So it's like a bass, but also a drum.
Yeah, because in the basic of Gnawa, it was only drum.
That's
full
so
bass.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's 3 strings, only 3.
Yeah, it's 3, but I call them 2.5.
2.5 because one of them is shorter.
One of them is short, and you don't use it much. You don't play it much here than no. So you play mostly in this.
Have you collaborated with other musicians, like with other instruments? Or is it you've only done the same format that you do that I saw?
I usually play fusion and traditional.
Yeah.
So I did many fusion with many artists.
And how is that catching? Like, are people interested in this more fusion kind of stuff, or is it more the traditional that is more in demand?
Actually, like if we speak about the people who love Gnawa,
Yeah.
they love it more in the traditional way.
Yeah.
But the people who develop Gnawa, they love it in the fusion way. Because it's especially for, I can say, foreigners, you know. Some people don't have it's not easy for them to feel the rhythm in the beginning with traditional Gnawa. But when it's full with other instruments, they can see the
power,
and they can feel also the rhythm, you know.
So we talked a little bit by saying it's like a santuri.
Yeah, it's like santuri.
Have you? If we were to talk about collaborations, if we were to talk about, we're talking about more, the power of the healing, the process, because music in itself is any kind of genre. It takes the human to a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
So you bring with the Gnawa to a healing level. So talk to us a little bit about this color part and the healing process. When we say healing, what happens to the listener? Those who really love, understand, because you have to go into the music.
Yeah.
You can't just listen to it as superficially. I don't think the healing power is in the superficiality.
Yeah. First part in the lila is the color of the Gnawa, and it's 7 color actually, and it's connected to, the universe. It's number 7 is more spiritual.
Yeah, it's like a spiritual number, right?
Yeah, exactly. So also when we found the Gnawa, it's 7. The master and three kuyus.
The master is the ma'alem, the person who is playing the main musician.
And who lead the ceremony for the night. And the percussion, we call them kuyu.
Kuyu.
Yeah, kuyu is the percussions. So we have 3 and 3, and the ma'alem is 7. So always everything goes with 7. So even the colors, we have 7 color at night. And each color has 7 songs.
Oh.
So the ritual starts from sunset time to the rising sun, all the night.
Sunset to sunrise.
Yeah.
So it's an overnight.
Overnight.
I see. And that's where people get into a trance.
Yeah, in these moments, yeah. So the color one is more, each color has connection to spirit or element. And this part is especially, we say, is like the most strong part than the other parts. Because here you can see different way of trance and expression of people. Is many. Cry, laugh, cut, eat glass, eat, something.
Really?
Something unbelievable, but you see it and you see, your brain cannot accept it in that moment, but it's the reality of this moment happening,
You're also a creative person. You have to create not just repeat the songs that exist and so on, so you have to also introduce something that is from Ayoub, something that comes from you.
Yeah.
Where do you find this inspiration? Like what inspires you? Is it the same elements? Is it something else?
For the inspiration, I don't know how you get inspired to make new touch of you. Because normally the Gnawa is, everybody could sing same songs. It's like a book already written. And I can sing it, you can sing it, everybody have a right, but it's better to make your own touch.
So how do you do this?
This is the feeling. I never want to make it like strange than what is in it, but when you play, you get in trance. So when I feel my trance is the more when I am playing, I go also out. So then inspiration comes in that moments, that things change, and I found new note with the same, like new things and same things.
So the same songs that you usually do,
Yeah.
based on the moment and
moment and
the trance that you're in, you find new
things,
notes, new
you drive, you
yeah.
sometimes you drive fast in the beginning, sometimes you go slow down, because it depends the moment that you are playing, the person also who is in trance, that's giving you also is a feedback, Master should be connect with this person. So, and every time you have a new
audience,
Yeah.
the audience will give you the energy.
and give you another things that comes out, it's like this.
When we talk about telling a story, when we talk about putting yourself in a trance to take you to a healing place, today there's so much happening in the world. There's a lot of different crises, from climate to violence. These people that need the shamans and the doctors, like you had told me, the word doctor was very much, the healer.
Yeah.
When they're looking for the healer, what are they looking for? What do they come to look for? What do they ask of the healer?
What I could understand from all my experience is to be free from some people has something in the past always stuck in them. Like they come to be free from these things, Yeah, that's what I feel is to come to get free.
To liberate.
To liberate some emotion or some pain or some memory that's never wanna go, and it can go in that moment, because are with many people around the musician, and there are people who invited and people who just came. Like we speak about it, when you play, you call the spirits.
All right.
So normally the lila, the ceremony, when I say lila, is the night of
Yes.
Gnawa. So the all time, people when they make a ceremony in their house, they never close the door.
So the spirits can come in.
And he should be in this place. It could be he's the healer that we are calling, is a magical. So, and also there is no alcohol. It's very forbidden, alcohol. Not about only Islam things, or it's about to keep the respect for this place. People come drunk and
Since our podcast is more about also talking about triumphs, but also coffee spills. So coffee spills, what we mean is things that didn't go necessarily the way you wanted it to go. Can you tell us like an episode where you were expecting something, it didn't happen, and you want to share this with us? And what did you learn from this? How did you resolve, and what solutions came from it?
Yeah, for me it was difficult to found the band, the group, especially for fusion. But because in traditional we can see one thing. Traditional, you don't need to have your band if you play only tradition. And every time you can have a new person and the percussion.
So you wanted to create your own band?
Yeah, because when you have more your band, people that they know more how the way of the style, how you play, and there is also chemistry of the band. It gives more. So this is I always look for it.
Did you try? Have you tried?
Yeah, I try and I build it and it goes.
So this is your story. So your coffee spill was the creating of the band that didn't happen, didn't work yet. So you're still working on this?
Yeah, always. So like for example, the guys with me now is I start with them and I teach them the Gnawa since the beginning, and they are on my band. But things happen in my life also that because I live in Sawera normally, I did this. And I changed to Casablanca and I leave them for like 1 year or something. So they go to other bands.
Yes.
So they will not wait for you.
Yeah.
That's of course is another life. And it's good at the same time because you give. It's like teaching, that's the Ma'alem. So
yes, Ma'alem is the teacher.
You teach and you create a new generation with you to and it goes, and it comes another one, and it comes another one, and it's like this. But for the fusion, I would like to have like more like,
Your
you know,
own band,
your band, yeah.
I really thank you for coming. I think it was a very inspirational and very interesting discoveries of Gnawa music and the whole storytelling through music and the healing powers of Gnawa was something, at least for me, was a new discovery. And I will do my own research and dive deeper into what this music can do. Maybe one day I'll go to Morocco and experience the Lila.
Big welcome.
Thank you for coming, making time. I know you're very tired also with playing for 5 nights. Thanks for being with us, and I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to support us, follow us either on Spotify or subscribe on YouTube channel for more episodes from Coffee Spills and Pineapples.